Welcome to the Cenario podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Ever felt that nagging thought? You know, the one in the back of your mind saying you should start working out.
Oh, yeah.
But then, bam, you're just immediately overwhelmed. Where do you even begin?
Right.
Without getting hurt or, worse, just giving up after like a week.
It's so common.
It really is. And honestly, the amount of fitness advice out there, it feels like trying to drink from a fire hose. So much conflicting stuff.
Absolutely. It can be paralyzing.
So today, we're doing a deep dive. We've got this fantastic stack of insights, all focused on workout tips for beginners. Start strong and stay motivated.
Sounds great.
Our mission, really just to cut through all that noise, we want to pull out the absolute most important actionable nuggets of knowledge
Yeah.
to help you build a fitness routine that actually lasts from day one. Think of it as like your essential playbook.
And what's so good about this material, I think, is exactly that. It doesn't just list what to do. It really digs into the why.
Yeah.
Why it matters.
Yeah.
And that helps you sidestep those really common beginner mistakes,
Yeah, the pitfalls.
And keep that motivation going for the long haul. It's not just a quick fix.
Exactly. So whether your goal is maybe losing some weight, building a bit of strength, or honestly just feeling healthier and more energetic,
Right.
we're going to explore the steps that actually lead to lasting success.
Okay.
Okay, so let's kick things off with the big one, the foundational question. Why even bother working out?
Yeah, the why.
Beyond just looking good, this deep dive really hammers home that exercise is, well, it's a vital investment in your overall health, your happiness.
Totally.
Our sources point to just a whole range of benefits that go way beyond just aesthetics.
That's so true. And when we connect this to like the bigger picture, it really enhances your daily life in real tangible ways.
How so?
Well, the material reminds us exercise isn't just about burning calories right now. It's about building this robust foundation for your future health.
Right.
It strengthens your heart, helps lower blood pressure, builds stronger bones and muscles.
Yeah.
It's proactively fighting off that age-related decline.
That's huge.
And think about the immediate stuff too. Boosting your energy, your endurance.
Yeah, just getting through the day easier.
Exactly. Tackling daily tasks with more ease. And something that's often overlooked, but it's so critical, is the impact on mental health.
Oh, definitely.
It significantly reduces anxiety, depression symptoms, improves your sleep quality, so you actually wake up feeling refreshed.
Oh, good sleep. That's gold.
Isn't it? The core message here really is that small, consistent actions can snowball into significant results over time.
Small, consistent actions. I like that.
It's powerful, right? It raises that question. How does doing just a little bit, but consistently, create such a big change compared to, going all out occasionally?
It's a total game changer, isn't it? Really shifts the focus from chasing perfection to just building momentum.
Exactly.
But how do we actually bridge that gap from wanting to do it to doing it, especially when you're brand new?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
Well, our deep dive lays out this pretty powerful 12-step roadmap. It seems designed to really transform how beginners approach fitness.
Okay, 12 steps. Let's hear them.
All right, step 1, foundational. Set clear, achievable goals. Before you even think about sneakers, define what success actually looks like for you.
Right, your success.
Not vague wishes, but specific, measurable, realistic targets. For beginner, maybe that's just exercise 3 times this week for 30 minutes.
Yeah, or walk 8,000 steps today, something concrete.
Exactly.
And here's where the source offers a really smart shift in perspective. It says, focus on process goals rather than solely on outcome goals.
Process goals. Explain that a bit more.
So instead of obsessing over, say, losing 10 pounds by next month, that's an outcome.
Okay.
Your goal becomes sticking to your workout schedule 3 times this week. That's the process.
Ah, I see.
It's subtle, but it's powerful. It keeps you motivated even when the scale isn't moving fast or the changes aren't visible yet.
Because you're succeeding at the doing.
Exactly. You're building the habit. You're becoming someone who works out. That identity shift is huge.
That reframes everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it leads perfectly into the next crucial step. This is where so many beginners, trip up.
Oh, yeah. We've all done it.
Starting slow and building momentum. Day 1, you feel amazing, right? You do way too much.
Invincible.
Then you can barely walk for 3 days. That awful soreness. It just leads to burnout. Or worse, injury.
Totally. So the material outlines a very specific, safe starting plan. Sensible stuff.
Like what?
For the first week or two, just aim for maybe 2 or 3 short sessions. 20, 30 minutes, low-intensity stuff.
Okay.
Think brisk walking, maybe some light cycling, beginner yoga, nothing crazy.
Right.
The key insight here is consistency trumps intensity, especially early on.
Consistency over intensity.
It's all about gradually increasing things, how long, how hard, how complex as your body adapts. Don't force it.
Makes sense.
Like the sources say, consistently building sustainable habits over time leads to lasting, meaningful results. It's about playing the long game.
That long game idea brings us to tip number 3. Mastering your form.
Oh, critical.
It's so easy to just jump in and flail around, but getting the form right, it's fundamental, isn't it?
Absolutely. It means you're actually working the muscles you intend to work.
Right.
It dramatically cuts your injury risk, and bonus, it even improves your posture and body awareness over time. You get more bang for your buck with every rep.
So how do you learn good form if you're clueless?
Well, the deep dive suggests practical things. Ideally, work with a certified personal trainer, even for just a session or 2.
Okay, if that's an option.
If not, watch good instructional videos from reputable sources, not just random influencers.
Good point.
And practice slowly. Use a mirror. See what you're actually doing.
The mirror's humbling sometimes.
Tell me about it. And a key thing the sources imply is always engage your core. Think about bracing slightly, like someone's about to gently poke your stomach.
Okay, core engaged.
And here's the vital takeaway. When it comes to reps and sets, quality surpasses quantity.
Fewer good reps are better than lots of bad ones.
Infinitely better. Bad reps can actually hurt you or build imbalances. Quality first. Always.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, moving on. Tip 4. Balance cardio and strength training.
The dynamic duo.
Yeah, so cardio is anything that gets your heart pumping right. Walking, running, cycling, swimming, dancing.
It's breathing harder?
And strength training. That could be body weight stuff like squats and push-ups or using weights, bands.
Building muscle.
So why do we need both? Why not just pick one?
Good question. The sources are clear. Cardio is fantastic for your heart and lungs, builds stamina, burns calories efficiently.
Okay, heart health.
Strength training builds muscle mass. And more muscle means a faster metabolism, even at rest. Plus, stronger bones.
Ah, metabolism boost.
Nice, yeah. So the recommendation is pretty balanced. A program of 30 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week, combining both types, can produce outstanding results over time.
So mix it up through the week.
Exactly. They work together for the best overall health benefits.
Got it. All right, tip 5. This one feels really important, but often gets ignored. Prioritize recovery.
Yes, so important. Your muscles don't get stronger during the workout.
Right, it's afterwards.
It's during the rest period that they repair and rebuild, stronger than before. Pushing without rest. It's counterproductive.
Leads to burnout again.
Or injury. The material is clear. Schedule at least 1 or 2 full rest days each week. No intense workouts.
Okay, actual rest days.
And it also suggests active recovery on other days. Light stuff like gentle yoga, stretching, a leisurely walk. Helps with blood flow.
Active recovery. Interesting.
And crucially, learn the difference between normal muscle soreness, that feeling of, I worked hard yesterday,
Yeah, the good ache.
versus sharp, persistent pain. Some soreness is totally normal, especially at first. But real pain, that's a stop sign.
Listen to your body.
Absolutely. It's telling you something important. Rest and reassess.
Okay, good advice. Now, speaking of fueling that body, tip 6, stay hydrated and well-fueled.
The foundation.
Seriously. Good nutrition, enough water. It's not just an add-on, is it? It underpins everything. You can't out-train a bad diet, right?
You really can. For hydration, it's pretty straightforward. Aim for at least 8 to 10 glasses of water a day. More if you're sweating a lot or it's hot.
Okay, keep the water bottle handy.
Definitely. And for nutrition, the advice is consistent. Focus on whole, unprocessed foods.
Like what?
Lean proteins, lots of colorful vegetables and fruits, complex carbs like whole grains, healthy fats, basically real food.
And void.
Avoid loading up on refined sugars and heavily processed stuff. And here's a great pro tip from the source. Have a post-workout snack.
Oh, what kind?
Something with both protein and carbs. It helps kickstart recovery, replenishes energy stores, sets you up better for the next workout.
Makes sense. Helps you feel ready to go again sooner.
Exactly.
All right, tip 7. This one's about motivation. Track your progress.
Yes, seeing progress is huge.
Documenting your journey. It's not just about data, is it? It's proof. Tangible proof of how far you've come.
And that feels good, especially when maybe the scale hasn't budged much or you don't see changes yet.
So how do you track simply?
Keep it easy. A basic workout journal,
Mm-hmm.
what you did, reps, sets, maybe how you felt.
Okay.
Taking monthly progress photos or measurements can be really eye-opening too. Sometimes the changes are gradual.
Yeah, photos don't lie.
And celebrate those non-scale victories. Ran a bit longer, lifted a slightly heavier weight, feeling more energetic generally.
Acknowledge those wins.
Absolutely. The deep dive stresses that progress isn't always visible in physical appearance monitor,
Yeah.
improvements in strength, endurance, and overall well-being too. It's holistic.
Holistic journey. I like that. Which ties into tip 8, listen to your body. We touched on this with recovery.
But it deserves its own point. It's probably the most critical skill for avoiding setbacks.
Learning that difference between good discomfort and actual pain.
Exactly. The sources define good discomfort as that muscle fatigue, mild soreness after a good session. That's adaptation happening.
Okay.
Bad pain is different. Severe, sharp, persistent stuff during or after. That's a warning. Don't push through that.
So what do you do?
Adjust. Modify the exercise. Take an extra rest day, whatever it takes. And remember, each fitness journey is unique.
Right.
Focus on your progress. Don't compare yourself to that super fit person next to you who's maybe been doing it for years.
Yeah. Comparison is the thief of joy, they say.
It really is in fitness. Run your own race.
Good advice. Okay. Tip 9, invest in quality gear. Does this mean dropping a fortune?
Not at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be expensive. But the right gear supports safety and comfort.
It makes it more enjoyable.
Definitely. The absolute essential, supportive shoes, appropriate for whatever activity you're doing. That's non-negotiable.
Good shoes are key.
Then, clothing. Breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics make a world of difference in comfort. Avoid old cotton sweats.
Yeah, it gets heavy and soggy.
Exactly. And optional extras. Maybe a simple yoga mat, some light dumbbells, resistance bands. They open up options, especially for home workouts.
Doesn't need to be fancy.
Nope. And the insight here is interesting. Good gear not only enhances performance, but also boosts confidence.
Huh. How so?
Sometimes just feeling comfortable, feeling like you look the part, can actually motivate you to get started.
That's actually true. Okay, tip 10. This might be the toughest pill to swallow for some.
Uh-oh.
Stay patient and consistent.
The reality check.
Yeah. Lasting results take time and consistent effort. It's not a quick fix, is it? It's a long-term commitment.
Absolutely not. And the material is really honest here. It says motivation will ebb and flow.
For sure, some days you just don't feel it.
Exactly. And progress might stall temporarily. You hit plateaus. It's normal.
So what's the secret then?
Staying consistent through those dips. That's the key. The sources offer a great motivation reminder. Every workout you complete, every healthy choice you make adds up.
Keep the bigger picture in mind.
Yes. Stay focused on that. Just show up. Even if it's not your best workout, showing up counts.
Showing up is half the battle. Okay, so that leads perfectly into tip 11. How do you stay motivated long term?
Right. Because that initial burst of enthusiasm, it fades.
It always does. You need systems, not just willpower.
Exactly. And this deep dive offers really practical strategies. First, find a workout buddy.
Accountability partner.
Makes it more fun, harder to skip. Second, join fitness challenges. A 30-day plank challenge, a virtual run. Adds excitement. A goal.
Gamify it a bit.
Third, set monthly goals, smaller chunks. This month I'll increase my walk time by 10 minutes. Achievable stuff.
Nice.
Fourth, reward milestones, but use non-food rewards. New workout gear, a massage, reinforce the positive behavior.
Oh, I like the massage idea.
Right. And finally, mix it up. Prevent boredom. Try hiking, swimming, dancing, different classes. Keep it fresh.
Variety is the spice of life and fitness.
Totally. And the ultimate motivation reminder here is just profound. Motivation isn't constant. You create it by taking consistent action.
Action creates motivation, not the other way around.
Exactly. It's a cycle. Act, feel motivated, act again.
That's powerful. Okay, final tip number 12. Common mistakes beginners should avoid.
Good to know what not to do.
Yeah, look, everyone makes mistakes, but knowing the common ones helps you sidestep them.
So what are they?
The sources list a few big ones. First, skipping warm-ups and cooldowns.
Oh, huge mistake. Increases injury risk massively.
Second, ignoring nutrition. We talked about fuel, but yeah, ignoring it tanks your energy and recovery.
Not to be overstated.
Third, comparing your progress to others. We hit this, but it bears repeating. Destroys motivation.
Focus on you.
Fourth, neglecting sleep. Seriously, you need 7-9 hours. It's crucial for recovery, energy, even weight management.
Sleep is a superpower.
And fifth, overtraining too soon. That enthusiasm trap again leads straight to injury and burnout. People quit.
Pace yourself.
Exactly. The Smart Start tip sums it all up perfectly. Fitness is a long-term commitment, not a quick endeavor. Focus on mastering the fundamentals, maintaining patience, and trusting the progression over time.
Trust the process.
And just to show how simple starting can be, the source even gives a sample beginner workout plan, no equipment needed.
Oh, nice. Like what?
Super basic. Day 1, full body strength, think body weight squats, push-ups. Day 2, cardio and core, maybe a brisk walk, some bicycle crunches. Day 3, rest.
Simple?
Accessible.
Totally accessible.
Mhm.
No excuses about not having gear or a gym.
Right. So if we really connect all this back to the bigger picture, this deep dive shows that starting fitness isn't just about changing your body. It's really about a much broader, holistic, personal transformation.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? It means you are capable of incredible things. Seriously.
Yeah.
By understanding and, actually applying these tips, these strategies, you won't just transform your physical health.
There's more to it. You'll build real mental resilience, you'll develop stronger self-discipline, and you'll foster this deeper connection with yourself, appreciating what your body can actually do.
It's empowering. And that raises, I think, an important final question for everyone listening.
Okay.
If starting with those small, consistent actions really can lead to significant results over time, what is just one tiny, manageable action you can take today, like right now, to kickstart this journey for your future self?
Think about that. What's that single smallest step you can commit to right after hearing this? Maybe it's just a 15-minute walk today.
Or scheduling 2 short workouts for this week.
Or looking up one good video on squat form, whatever it is.
Just one small thing.
Your future self. They will absolutely thank you for making that commitment right now.
Thanks for tuning in to the Cenario podcast. Don't forget to visit Cenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.